Birdman for Birdman on the Mountain, and it's time for the Show Low Community Shout, hanging out here at the White Mountain Independent Conference Room. With me this morning, I've got joining Mr. Kirk Webb.
Good morning.
Timber Mesa Fire and Medical District.
That's it, yeah.
Awesome. I got it all.
Yeah, that's right. Get that out. TMFMD for short.
There you go.
Even
awesome.
That's kind of a tongue twister.
Right? Yeah. We can get into trouble with that. Say something wrong.
Yeah.
So I saw you the other day in front of my house.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
We had a nice little event down your street there.
Yeah, so I sort of wanted to start with that.
Sure.
From the safety perspective, obviously that's what we want to talk about. And so tell me what was going on and why we brought it up.
It was first cold night, and so residents turned on their heater. And what we think we've figured out was that over the course of the summer, they changed some of the heating and air conditioning unit in their home. And so when they fired it on for the first time, dust and all the other stuff that gets in there, when you first turn your furnace on for the first time every year, you always get that kind of an odd smell and like something burning. Well, this one I think there was a little more because they added an air conditioning unit to that furnace, so the heating, ventilation, cooling system. And so there were some oils that got spilled onto the coils that heat up in the furnace.
Oh.
And so I think it put that a little light smoke in the house, and then it got the smell of the oil burning because it's, in theory, it is burning, and so heating up. And so yeah, it was, and they were concerned, and rightfully so. They called 911. That's what we're there for.
That's exactly right.
So we show up and clear the smoke out of the home and make sure that there's no fire in any hidden spaces and things like that, and narrow it down to that it was just probably the work that had been done on the furnace, adding the air conditioning unit and oil getting in there. So,
but I know it freaks you out if your house fills up with smoke for any reason.
Correct.
Let alone you turn on your heater. So.
And don't. Just like when we work with the kids, if the alarm goes off, you need to stop what you're doing and get out. You don't just keep going and, don't. If the smoke alarm is there for a reason, the fire alarms are there for a reason. If they're going off, then it's always better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
So,
and you guys don't chastise anybody for coming out to check on something.
No, that's what our job is. We want to be safe. We want our community to be safe, and we're all about, and my particular role is education and fire prevention. And so how do I do prevention is by education. And so, yeah, this is a good teaching tool.
Yeah. So on that note, let's say, now's a good time. And this is what I do every year, probably because of my wife, but, is, before I know the furnace has to run at a night time, and I know we're getting into that, is I get it turned on, I fire it up, I change the filter, I run it for a little while. Even if it's still warm in the house, I'll warm it up a little bit more just to make sure everything's working properly. Like you're saying, you get that smell gone.
Right.
You get all the dust out, and it's sort of working right.
Yeah.
Also a good time for the other things that people use, right?
Right. You got your stoves, wood stoves, pellet stoves, any kind of wood burning product, fireplaces. If the wood is not completely dry, so how often does that always happen? People, there's wood out there, or it may have a lot of pitchy residue in it, and that can create creosote, which sticks to the sidewalls of the pipes, the exhaust pipes, flues, and then that builds up over time, and it can actually even totally block off the piping and the exhaust system of the furnace, wood stove, whatever fireplace. And because of that can actually cause fires. So that creosote is basically unburned fuel. If it gets up to a certain temperature, once it gets to its ignition temperature, it can ignite, and then you have a chimney fire. And they've been described as sounding like a freight train. So you got some nice fuel that's already been pre-burned. Now it's preheated, and so when it does ignite and catch on fire, it burns pretty well.
Yeah, cool.
And can create I've seen some flames coming out of the tops of the chimneys and stuff 10, 15 feet in the air.
So instead of when it's freezing cold, you're trying to make a fire, and now you're dealing with, this is the time to get a chimney sweep over, have somebody look at it, inspect it, and do that before you're into the season where you really need it as a heat provider in your house.
Make sure it's clean. And then, now the new style of chimneys is the triple wall pipes, metal pipes. what does metal do once it's get overheated over time and time and time and again? It fatigues, and so you actually need to, if you can find somebody that can run a camera up there and to check the integrity of the pipe and make sure that there's not any gaps and at the seams and joints and things like that. So, and if it is, then you need to have that replaced or something different. It's not, a long time ago all chimneys were actually built out of brick and
right.
masonry.
Yep.
And so they didn't seem to fail as often. They still can fail, but they're easier to keep clean and a little safer. But they cost a lot of money to build too. But so but if you just take the little bit of time and have and get a licensed contractor to go in there and that has the expertise to be able to check that and clean and do the inspection on the pipe and make sure everything's good and it's clean and and actually having good hot fires is not a bad thing. But you don't want them all the time.
Right.
But that a good hot fire actually burns more efficiently and gets that creosote buildup kept down low.
Very good. Awesome. So segueing on that, we October is sort of, what's it called officially?
Years and years ago, I can't remember which president it was, but there's actually National Fire Prevention Week.
Right.
So the actual National Fire Prevention Week this year is October 8th through the 14th.
Okay. Which also coincides with fall break, so that didn't work out well for you this year, did it?
No, and there's no way I can physically get into all of these schools with the program that I have created. That we put together, years ago. I found out that it was kind of difficult to get into the schools, and trying to compete with Forest Service and law enforcement and county health departments and things like that. So I thought, you know what? Let's work together and combine our efforts, and so we've created what I call the Safety Village. So we take that to the schools and all these different agencies. We work together, we show up, and we set up different stations. In fact, we actually our first one today was at Lexington Academy, and so we get things going. And each individual agency or group or whoever wants to come out and share a message. We have about a 10-12 minute safety message, and then we rotate between the different stations. So the classes get to go to each one of the stations, and it works out really well. It's the kids love it. The teachers have enjoyed it. They get in fact, I think one year I looked at combining, taking and doing the math. I don't know if I did my math right, but I think there was easily around 20,000 safety messages that went out to all the different kids. We see about close to 3,000 or more kids with all the different things that we do in October.
So you're going to be in all the schools with the Safety Village.
Right.
And it started obviously here on Wednesday, which we show this on Thursday, but it started Wednesday, runs through when to when?
And it varies because it depends on when I get each school scheduled. So I know, like, for example, we've got next week, I don't have anything because all the schools are on fall break. So we've got a few this week. We're going into Mountain Christian Academy, Sequoia Schools on Friday. And then next week, we don't have any that we're going to, but the following week, we start up again at Blue Ridge and Whipple Ranch and all the different Nicholas Homestead the following week and out in Linden Elementary. So we're getting all over to wherever we can.
Okay, so if you've got kids in the schools, you can know that you're going to be out there with the Safety Village. Make sure they get as much information as they can. Cool.
Right, and our theme this year, we're talking about knowing 2 ways out.
2 ways out.
So I work with them, telling them, how often do they do fire drills at school? And they, all the time, at least once a month. And so why is it not important that you do them at home too? So we talk about exit drills in the home and that kind of stuff, and knowing 2 ways out of your room and how to, when that alarm goes off, you need to just get up and get outside, go to your meeting place. And
very good. Well, thank you for your time. Kirk Webb once again with Timber Mesa Fire and Medical.
Thank you.
And we're going to have another person coming up here real quick talking about more of the fun things going on in this month. So hang out right there. I'll be right back in just a sec.
Thanks.
Hey, it's Birdman still hanging out here at the White Mountain Independent Conference Room. Joining me now, I've got from City of Sholo, Mr. Steve North, And actually, it's supposedly this is the Main Street, right? Solo Main Street,
Well, yeah,
or it's a
I'm
combined
here.
production.
Well, the city certainly supports Show Main Street, but I'm here to talk about a holiday event, one of the favorites in the area that
Yes, it
Show
is.
Main Street puts on.
That's right. Cool. So you guys just ended up your season of summer. What do we call it? The
The
marketplace?
Show Main Street Farmers Market and Art Walk. Yeah, that
Yeah.
just wrapped up Saturday, as a matter of fact, and
And
we're
that man,
done.
you got to be at max capacity of that, or are you thinking about maybe having to expand that next year? Because it seemed like there was.
I don't think we're really not looking at expanding at this point. We're going to
Refine.
probably start jurying
Okay.
jurying vendors and try to increase our quality
There
there.
you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, because
Yeah.
it's a pretty happening event.
Yeah.
So, anyways, going into the fun things, like we said, from the fire safety, which is more serious, but they have fun too. Is
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
burning buildings and things like that. That's awesome.
So, and kids love fire trucks.
Yes, they do.
Spooktacular Fest.
Oh
Tell me what's
yes.
going on.
Well, it's our it's our eighth. I think it's our eighth annual
Nice.
Show Main Street Spooktacular Festival. This year, it's presented by Cedar Ridge Real Estate. Wanted to plug them for that. Thank them.
Good.
The date this year is Saturday, October 28th, and as usual, it kicks off at noon and goes through 8 p.m. that day. And it's downtown Show Low. If you can find the corner of 9th Street and Cooley, there'll be a giant stage right out in the middle of the intersection.
It's
and
kind of really hard to miss because there's just a whole lot going on.
It
over
is.
there.
It
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
We have a giant stage there, and then we have booths and trunks and different things that radiate out from there. So
Yeah.
you can't miss it.
So I've
And
had businesses ask me, and I've actually had people ask me, "Hey, well, how much is it? How much is it for a booth down there?"
if you're a business or business nonprofit organizations or even families come down and do this, set up a booth or a trunk, decorate it up in Halloween. Either provide a carnival style game for kids or something like that, some kind of Halloween activity, or hand out candy to the kids in the area, and you're free to promote yourself. It's absolutely free.
Nice. Yeah.
All you need to do is come on to sholowmainstreet.org, click on Spooktacular Festival under events, and there's a little button there you push,
Yeah.
and it's completely online, no paperwork.
Okay. We're gonna make sure we throw the links down below
Yep.
for people that they can just click on them and go that way because
Absolutely.
it makes it a lot easier.
Yes.
And you said the entertainment. I think I remember you mentioning the entertainment starts at noon and goes all the way.
We've
to
got
8.
entertainment on the stage all day long,
Nice.
starting at noon. Of course, the hula dancers always kick it off as normal, and then the tribal fusion belly dancers are at 12:30, followed by the Perfect Paws pet costume contest at 1.
Nice.
We always get some.
I'm still waiting for the snake to come out.
So am I. Usually it's cats or dogs,
Yeah, cats
or,
and dogs. We need like lizards and snakes and
or even a
tarantulas.
ferret.
Ooh, a ferret. There we go. Right?
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, 1 o'clock for that. Come on out. There are good prizes there. 1:30 to 4:30 is we'll have a live remote there. Power 95.7 will do that. 1:30, the All Star Dance Center dancers will be performing on the stage. Actually, on the stage and on the ground as
And
well,
on the
in
ground
front
as
of the
well.
stage.
Nice.
So
Okay.
great big production there. At 2 p.m. is our Scarioke finals. That's always a popular event as well. For those of you that are new to the area, we have local radio station puts on the. It's a contest where local people come in and they
Right.
sing. They do karaoke to Halloween themed songs, and they're actually the songs are chosen for them, and then they compete, and the top 3 finalists perform at the Spooktacular every year.
Very cool.
So we have that, and then at 3 p.m. is our human costume contest.
Okay.
And we have 4 age groups, and then male and female winners from each age group. So come on out at 3 o'clock. We started out, and I'm trying to remember, 0 to 5, I believe,
Yeah.
6 to 12, 13 to 17, and then adults.
Yeah.
Male and female for both, all of those age categories. And then finally, we wrap it all up from 4 to 7. We have a live performance by Thunder Horse on the stage. Yeah.
Cool.
Classic rock, classic country. They're a really good band.
Nice.
Yep.
Cool.
So all that stuff going on, and then of course all throughout the event area, we've got trunks and booths giving out candy, having carnival-style games. There's a haunted house, Bilby's Interiors, will be doing a haunted house again.
Good.
Down in the corner of Legal Documents will be doing a zombie apocalypse shootout.
Wow, that's gonna be fun.
Right in her yard there, so that'll be that'll be interesting. Come on out for that. Of course, we'll have pumpkin bowling, car bash,
All that kind of stuff.
yeah, all kinds of Halloween stuff. Hay rides, free hay rides, from noon until 4 p.m.
There you go.
Pony rides, all kinds of things. Come on out. There's something for everyone.
Very cool. And the admission is free.
Free.
So basically, it's come on down, have some fun. There is food being sold there, so you can get some food as well.
We do have plenty of food vendors selling a variety of different foods, from of course, hamburger, hot dogs to funnel cakes,
And I'm gonna
cotton
bet
candy, coffee, all kinds of things.
probably some candy apples.
Probably some candy apples. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Steve. Anything else you want to mention, or?
No, just mark it on your calendar. This is a family-friendly event, so bring all your family and friends. Absolutely free. It's a great and safe way to celebrate Halloween
Very
in the White
cool.
Mountains.
Up in the White Mountains, have some fun, get some entertainment, leave with some
Absolutely.
candy, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Lots of candy.
Appreciate your time.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Hey, that's going to be it for this episode of the Community Shout right here from Sholo. I want to remind everybody, you're watching this now on the WMI page and also on their Facebook page. If you've got an event that you want to talk about, any activities or things like that have to do with community, where you're inviting people in and things like that, you can come down here. It's the first and the third Wednesday of the month right here at the White Mountain Independent Conference Center. That's at 10 a.m. Or the second and fourth Tuesday of the month is at my Pinetop Lakeside studio, that's up there in the back of the Pinetop Lakeside Chamber of Commerce, right next to SALT. You can come in there. It's free. There's no cost for you to come in and talk about your event, let everybody know what's going on. I want you to tell them about it, not just me to sit here and read a list of things. We do that on Monday, where we tell everybody what the events are. So if you get them to me in advance, we'll add it to that list, and then you can come in and talk about it. So like I always say, if I don't see you around town, I'm going to catch you right here on the web.